we're getting pretty good at doing that.
Yes, we finally got it down packed.
Yeah. What's up? Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining the Safe Space.
Mm-hmm.
We have a few topics that we want to talk to you guys about. First of all, before I forget, and this is totally impromptu, but I definitely wanted to just shout out one of our loyal listeners, Mr. Adler Marchand. He had an amazing JookAerobics event that we went to a little while back. We're going to have some footage on our feed, and we might even throw a couple of videos and whatnot of us learning the routine.
Yeah.
We might not. You got to stick to the end to find out. So, just in case some of you guys don't know what the Safe Word Podcast is, I'm more than happy to explain it, but I'm going to have Brianna go ahead and explain, what it is that we do here at the Safe Word Podcast.
Absolutely. And if you still are a little confused, you can kind of go back to our previous 2 episodes that we dropped last week and the week before and see if you can get a gist of it. So basically, it's a podcast that provokes conversation and discussion about social and somewhat controversial topics. So we want to get inside your head. We want to see what you guys are thinking, and as well let you know what we're thinking and what our stances are on these different topics. And also, it would be great if you guys can leave in the comments anything that you want to see us talk about, or some topics that you've heard that you think is interesting, and Brianna Jamar should talk about that on the podcast. Let us know.
Absolutely. Go ahead and drop that comment down below. Drop the comment on our Instagram. You can email us at thesafewordpodcast@gmail.com. All of those avenues are acceptable. Just, get the information to us so we can talk about it. And just to elaborate on what you said, she said that we're going to be talking about controversial topics, but we're also going to be talking about topics that you would talk about with your family at the dinner table. We're going to have discussions about real world things. We're not a gossip podcast, so we're not going to talk about the latest and greatest of the Kardashians and whatnot, but we're going to focus on the other side of the coin, the things that maybe people are not talking about as much, just to provoke that conversation, like they over here said earlier. So with that being said, we need to talk about what the safe word is for today. And just as a recap, the safe word itself is a word that you use when you need to be honest, upfront, and not judged. Okay? So if Brianna and I are disagreeing about something, we have to use a safe word so the other person knows that they can't judge us for whatever we said. I definitely just stifled the burp, but it's all good. They just, they can't judge us for whatever we said, or they can't hold it against us. We have to speak our truth. Free your mind, and the rest will follow.
Free your soul.
Free yourself, like Fantasia said.
Go ahead and free yourself.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, you want to be one of my backup dancers, girl? One of my backup singers?
Don't sleep on me.
I don't sleep on you, girl. Okay, so... so, the safe word of the day is...
Dang, I forgot it already.
Oh,
Bruh.
Wait. Sugar cane.
Sugar cane. The safe word of the day is sugar cane. All right? So, just to be practical about it, if I were to say that, slavery is the worst thing that's happened to the United States or to black people, and Brianna disagreed with that, she could say, listen, sugar cane, but that's not the worst thing to happen. The worst thing to happen is Donald Trump or something like that. And she can discuss why she feels that way, and I have to respect what it is that she's saying. I can't judge her. I can ask her more about it, but I can't look at her with a stank face. So, with that being said, thank you. With that being said, let's jump into our first topic. Our first topic is actually a 2-parter. It's our first ever 2-part question here on the Safe Word.
Woo!
And this one, I feel like we kind of have to tee it up a little bit. So all of you guys who are wondering, yes, we are in a beautiful long-term relationship.
Year and a half strong
As of this date. And, we sometimes wonder, what it's like for other couples, because we both have Caribbean backgrounds. Myself being Haitian American, herself being Jamaican American. And things that are acceptable to us or whatnot may not be the same for other cultures. So we wanted to go ahead and pose up this question right now. And you can ask them what it is.
So the first part of the question is, what what is your stance, or how do you feel? Well,
you do.
are you okay with your partner dancing at parties with other people? How do you feel about that? Are you okay with that? Are you not okay with that? What's your stance? How do you feel? Should we give them the second part, or we just talk about that first?
I think we'll probably talk about that first.
Okay. Well, for me, I'm completely okay with my partner dancing with other people at a party, as long as I'm not there. Because it's like, if I'm there, what's the point of dancing with anybody else? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm okay with it. Go ahead, do you, boo-boo. Do your thing. Now, with that being said, as long as no boundaries are being crossed, you know, like, as long as she's not doing a split on the floor on
Split
top
in
of
the
you,
middle.
like, no, sorry, we're gonna have some problems, honey. But for the most part, yeah, I have no problem. You know, I'm not a stickler, a person that says, no, you can only do the two-step and that's it. Like, you know, you can have a little fun. So that's how I feel.
I find that interesting because I've always assumed that that's something that you would say, but I feel like if somebody showed you a video and it's like, girl, look what your man was doing at such and such club, and you saw me dancing behind some girl, I want to slip follow me, wasn't twerking, and she's just doing all her little thing. I feel like you would probably feel some type of way about that.
I don't think so. I honestly don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
Okay, cool. If that's what you say. That's what you say. That's what you mean. All right, cool.
Watch him test it out now.
Listen, I just, fellas, I just might test it out. You never know. Even though it'll be a failed attempt because I already know what I got at home is the best thing on the market. I don't have to test out no other girl's wine. I got the best one right here. A slim file woman with some twerking. So, I really don't know how I feel about that because I'm someone who would never like to be bogged down or told I can't do something. So I guess I'll put it like this. I have no issue with it personally, as long as my partner knows the limit, respects themselves, and most importantly, respects the relationship. Because you can dance with anybody you want, but there has to be some type of a line. You know, there's certain dance moves that I won't break out unless I'm with my girlfriend. You know, there's certain dance moves I'm sure she won't break out unless she's with me. So yeah, I don't have to two-step with somebody. I could go ahead and dance with them, you know, a nice little dance, a nice little wine, whatever, but it's not the same caliber. Like, it's like C grade, you know? The A grade wine is gonna go to my girlfriend. And it's not even C grade, more probably like C minus, you know, if we're being technical here, because I gotta keep the good stuff for my girl. So there's that. On the other side, you know, it then becomes an issue of, you know, oh, your girl was out there busting a wine to this song, or your dude was out there, girl, you gonna let him dog you out like that? So you gotta be mindful about what your friends and colleagues are gonna be saying about that, as long as you guys are comfortable with it.
Yeah, as long as there's no surprises. You know, I don't want to be surprised. I want to know, like, if someone were to come up to me and say, girl, Jamar was doing this, this, and that, and I can confidently say, I'm pretty sure it probably wasn't what it looked like, or something like that, I think that's important. You know, as long as we both have an understanding, then that's really what matters.
Mm-hmm. And I don't, honestly, me personally, I'm not that type of dude anyway to go out and just start dancing on girls like that. The only exception will be what our B part question is going to be, which is, you know, Caribbean parties and things like that. So I guess we can transition to that.
Yeah, so the second part of the question is, how do we word it again?
The second part of the question is, I'll take the second part of the question is there a cultural limit, so to speak, a boundary between different types of events and different cultures? For example, we're gonna put up a picture right now where you guys can see, and this is at Carnival, and you can see that the girl is bent over having a good old time, and the dude behind him is having a good old time too. But now the question becomes, what if someone shows you a picture where that's your dude or that's your girl? Is that acceptable? Is there a location limit or a cultural event limit? So I don't know if you want to answer first. You want me to answer?
Go ahead.
So I think when it comes to dancing like that, I have much less of an issue with that at like Carnival. And I know that Brianna probably gonna think differently, but when I go to Carnival, I feel as though it's a free for wine. Like everybody knows what's going on over there. There's people who have whole marriages, whole girlfriends, whole kids, things like that, but they go over there, they dance, they keep it moving. They're not sitting there trying to get somebody's number necessarily, or trying to marry somebody on the dance floor. They go, they fetting, they having a drink or 7, like me, and they're having a good time. And I think that sometimes when the song hits you at the right mode, you go and you bust a wine, you do your thing. Now, if someone is that same position at a club, I feel like it's different, personally speaking. Did you have something you wanted to say?
I really was just clearing my throat. But now that you asked, I feel like, and again, I have no problem with you, doing your thing at Carnival. But I feel like you got to keep that same energy. If you're the same things that you're doing at Carnival, or you're okay with doing at Carnival, or you're gonna give leniency, I feel like, why aren't you giving that same leniency at a Caribbean party, like a Jamaican party or a Haitian party, or what have you? Why aren't you giving that same leniency? I feel like it's the same thing. It's a party. You came there to do the same thing, which is dance, have a good time, and enjoy yourself. So what's the difference? I don't get it.
Okay, so I'll tell you the difference in my opinion. It's the setting. It's the expectation. It's like, going to brunch and drinking all day is acceptable. Going to lunch on Wednesday and drinking all day is not acceptable. So in the same token, going to a dance hall party or a Caribbean party with without your partner, and you going and you dancing on random people is not the same as you going to Carnival. Because I feel as though it's the mindset. Everybody at Carnival knows that it's a one-day thing where everybody is gonna have a good time. Nobody's there to try to lock you down. You literally dance for like 20, 30 seconds and you keep it moving.
I feel like you do the same thing at Caribbean. I specifically say Caribbean parties and not just parties in general, because if different parties, there's obviously different vibes and different settings, but a Caribbean party, I feel like it's the same thing. You're going there for the same reason. Dance for 20, 30 seconds and then move on. Yeah, some dude may try to get your number or whatever, or trying to see what you're about, but they do that at Carnival too, believe it or not. So, I mean, it's happened to me before, okay? I've had someone come up to me and ask for my number at Carnival, and I've had someone come up to me and ask for my number at a Caribbean party. I feel like it's the same thing. So, I gotta disagree with you, buddy.
Nah, I mean, I get what you're saying, and I respect your decision, your opinion, but nah. Nah. There is absolutely a clear-cut difference at a Caribbean party than at a soca party, or at a Carnival, I should say. And maybe it's the atmosphere, maybe it's because it's a daytime event, or what, but no, because I would even put Juve in the same thing. When I go to Juve in the morning, before Carnival, it's the same thing. I'm not worried about anybody catching feelings or anything like that. I'm worried about getting a wine and having a good time and going about my business. I feel like it's more likely, maybe it's because it's a nighttime thing, it's more likely that someone's going to try to holler at you at, a nighttime Caribbean party. And that's where you have to ask yourself, where is the boundary? And going back to what we said, as a Caribbean American, do we feel comfortable with our partners, dancing any kind of way? Because like I said, when your song comes on,
right,
and you're doing your thing and some dude comes behind you, do you want to stop what you're doing?
No.
I know you don't want to, but do you?
Anyway, so what do you guys think?
Leave your comments down below, please. Even if it's to let her know that
You know
she's
I'm just
wrong.
kidding.
Or to let me know that I'm wrong. Just leave your comments down below. Leave your comments on the Instagram. Leave your comments on the Thesafewordpodcast at gmail.com. Just talk to us. Let us know.
Yeah, let us know what you think. Do you agree with me or do you agree with Jamar?
Or do you disagree with both of us? Because both of us are in agreement on the base part, which is that we don't feel as though you need to, not dance with other people. We
Right.
both are giving each other that freedom to go dance with people. It's just there's a respect level.
There's a limit.
Put some respect on this relationship.
Boundaries.
Okay. Moving on. So
Second
question number 2.
I always forget them. I'm gonna go ahead and cheat and look. I was trying to remember them all in my head, but I'm sorry, my memory is
It's
not
okay.
that
One day
great.
when we get a bigger budget, we'll have those laser teleprompters that'll just have it right behind the camera.
Yeah. Okay, so the second question is, why do women cling to each other at social events?
So let me just explain this because I'm sure probably some of you guys are going, huh? A lot of times when you go to the club or a social gathering or whatever, you see girls huddled together and almost like they're protecting each other from the harshness of a guy trying to come talk to them. So they go to the bathroom together, they dance with each other. If a guy comes by, they cling as if they have to protect one another from an approach. And then they go on Facebook or Instagram and say that there's no good men out there, or that why are they still single, or blah, blah, blah. So that's what we're saying. Why do we think that women cling to each other so much at social events? What do you think?
Well, me being a woman who clings, there's several reasons. For one, I usually cling to my group if we're traveling or moving together, like if we're going to the bathroom or if we're changing spots or whatever. Obviously, we cling together because we're together and we don't want to lose one another unless one of them or one of us says, "Oh, I'm gonna go here really quick. I'm gonna go get a drink, or I'm gonna go to the bathroom." And even when that happens, a lot of times when I'm with my friends and I say I'm gonna go to the bathroom really quick, they're like, "Oh, you want me to come with you?" Because sometimes we just don't want someone to come up to us and talk to us. Sometimes we just don't feel like talking, especially people who are in a relationship but yet they still like to go out to parties and stuff. You just don't want to be. You just don't want to be approached all the time. And someone like me who's an introvert, I'm sorry, I don't want to be approached all the time. I find it annoying sometimes, when I'm being approached left and right, and I don't want to deal with it. So I know that's one reason. Another reason, especially when women are dancing, why they cling to each other is sometimes they just don't want to dance on guys. Guys, let me tell you something, because sometimes women are dancing and they just want to show off their skills. They want to show everybody what they got. They want the limelight. And when a guy comes up behind you and starts dancing with you, you're kind of messing up our little show. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, dude, back up. Let me do what I'm doing. Like, move. Why do you look like that?
I'm gonna let you finish. Letting you finish your point.
Well, that's basically it. A lot of times, or it could be that you're ugly, but a lot of times, a girl just wants to show off. She wants to show out, and you're kind of messing her up by getting behind her. So, speaking from experience.
So that's your reason why women cling on to each other.
That's some of the reason. I'm sure there's more, but that's what I can think of right now. Yeah, that's some of my reasons at least. What you gotta say? What you think?
Well, first of all, I think that whole notion is nonsense. I think that we're all adults and we can carry ourselves to an extent without having to, go back to high school tactics. I understand 100% about the whole going to the bathroom with each other. I understand 100% about being in a group with each other to protect each other. Because honestly, there's some foul people out there, and if you're there by yourself, you can get taken advantage of. Someone can slip something in your drink. There are some sickos out there, honestly, and I'm never gonna say that you shouldn't do that. What bothers me and what bothered me when I was single, which feels like such a long time ago, was when you try to approach someone or you try to get someone's attention or whatnot, and then there's a hive that activates, and it always be the ladies, you're all beautiful, but it always be that one pretty girl that tries to make sure that whatever you're trying to do fails. I don't know what is it going on in her head. Maybe she feels as though if they start getting pulled away that she'll be the last one picked, like a dodgeball team or whatever. But listen, clearly I'm not coming for you, so why are you blocking what I'm trying to do with this person? Or if you're dancing like you said, and you want the world to see or whatever, who are you dancing for? Are you dancing for the guys or are you dancing for the girls?
It could be both. You just want to show. So people just want the limelight. They just want to show you what they got.
And then what happens afterwards? So nobody goes near you. Nobody goes near you. You do your thing. You dance. What's the first thing you're gonna think?
I'm not killing it. I'm not.
Exactly. So if guys don't go behind you and try to dance with you, and you're able to finish your entire routine you had in your head, you're gonna feel like, well, damn, what is wrong with me? How come nobody tried to attack, to pounce on me? How come nobody's trying to give me attention?
But on the other side of that, some guys just also like to watch, and that could be another thing. Cause I mean, I've seen some girls where no dude or anything got up behind her, but they were all staring at her, and like they kept staring at her while she was doing her thing, and it was obvious that they liked what they were seeing, but they didn't get up behind her.
No, those dudes were scared. Those dudes were scared to go approach her. I guarantee you, those dudes were intimidated because they thought that maybe they wouldn't have a chance. We're getting with that girl, but going back to what we were saying, girls can get so clung up to each other and literally dance all up in each other. Like the thing that bugs me out the most is when you're like, let's say you're playing Back That Thing Up and by Juvenile, and you looking, it's your time to shine. You a dude, you dressing fly. It's your time to go find a girl, whatever. All the girls are dancing on each other. Not only they're dancing on each other, but they're dancing on each other the way that you would dance on a girl. Right behind, the one girl is face down, ass up, and the other girl has her hand like this, like she got something in between her legs. And it just bugs me out. I look and I'm like, so where is the guy supposed to fit in the equation? And then you go, like I said earlier, you go on Instagram, you go on Facebook, you start sharing all these memes about how dudes ain't nothing and how they should be, they should be taking you out and blah, 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 but you're not showing them any love. You ain't doing nothing that makes them feel like they could even approach you. And I know some of that, because I know there's going to be somebody in the comments, I know some of that is their own insecurities. Sure, I'll grant you that. I'll give you 30% their own insecurities. But ladies, you have to also take responsibility for your part in that action.
Well, I kind of don't think that one has to do with the other, because if you're dancing at a club or whatever, you're there to have a good time. And if you don't necessarily want to dance on a dude, and 9 times out of 10, fellas, if you're trying to dance with a girl and a hurdle comes that tries to block you, she doesn't think you're attractive, or she just, 9 times out of 10, that's what it is. Because let me tell you, I'm gonna spill a little bit of the beans, ladies. A lot of times when a guy is behind a girl, her friend is in front of her, and the girl that you're trying to dance with is asking her, how does he look? Is he cute? And if the answer is no, most likely that's the reason why her friend is blocking you from dancing. seen it happen many times.
I've been the person that was behind the girl and the other girls gave him that subtle approval like that. And that's when the girl started backing it up even better. Listen, there's an ego boost. I'm telling you, when you go behind the girl, it don't happen all the time. Sometimes they pull the girl away.
That's how you know if you ugly
listen,
or not.
when you go behind the girl and the girl looks up at her friend gives you that like thing, and she started backing it up even better, man, you in there. You in there.
Yeah. So there's a little what do they call it?
Compromise?
No. Whatever. There's a little
gray area?
No. You know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say?
Listen.
There's a little, I can't.
He's like the lady trying to speak
Bán em đi.
I feel like y'all not gonna know what we're talking about. I might have to put that in the video.
I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm trying to say there's a little insight. There you go.
Okay.
A little insight into what goes on in the female huddle.
Well, I feel like maybe you can elaborate further because you are a female. Why? What do you think can stop or not stop, but what do you think a guy can do to deal with that whole girl hive?
I mean, there's really nothing much you can do. Move on. Move on to the next huddle, or move on to, no, not huddle, but
it's literally a huddle.
Move on to the next one. Like, obviously, she doesn't want to dance with you. She's not feeling you. The best you can do is just keep it moving, because if you're gonna keep, crowding around her and the girls, it's just gonna get very, very annoying. And trust me, they're gonna be talking about you on the way home.
Oh, you definitely don't want to do that.
So
don't be that person that doesn't take a hint. That's not what I was talking about. I wasn't talking about.
What are you talking about?
I wasn't talking about you, trying to. If they already gave you that no, you're still trying to turn it into a yes. No, it's not gonna happen. I'm saying if you and fellas, I'm trying to prod in mind for you. If you are a dude, if I'm a dude and I see that there's a group of girls, and before we've even interacted, what are some of the things that I can do to make it more likely that the girl who I'm trying to get will be gotten? Or, whether it be a dance or whatever. I can tell you my things that I do, but I want to hear from you.
So the question is, what exactly can he do
to break up that clung up group?
Well, I mean, I don't really think there is anything you can do to break up the group. Like, if the group is already there and you see them starting to crowd around even more when you walk up, then most likely there's a reason for that. Either you're ugly, either she has a boyfriend, either she just doesn't want to dance with you, whatever it is. There's really nothing you can do. I mean, if you try to dance with her, don't just go up behind her and just start, daggering and
Hit the.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Please.
Ooh.
Be smooth, calm, and collected. Please. I'm begging you. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm just trying to think about it from my standpoint and like what we do in the club, my friends and I. But there really is nothing you can do. Like, if you see the crowd, if she wants to dance with you, she's gonna dance with you. And if you see them crowding around, she mostly probably just doesn't want to dance with you. I can't really think of anything that you can do.
Interesting. Well, I have some tactics, but I'm really interested to know what you guys think. And more specifically, I'm interested to know what the ladies think. So definitely want to see what you guys come up with in the comments. Make sure you chime in this conversation. I think more so than any of the other ones, this might be something that really helps to drop some knowledge of some of the young ladies and the dudes that are trying to, find love in these streets, or at least find a line.
Actually, one thing, if you really want to dance that bad, maybe offer to buy her a drink, and she might be willing. But
the dreaded pay for dance tactic.
It's a business. It's a business.
That is a topic for another day. Trust me, I could go in on that topic, but
We know.
let's go ahead and move on to the last question of the night.
Last question, as I forget again. Oh, okay, yes. So the last question we have is, what is your view on psychics and mediums? What is your view? How do you feel about them?
How do you feel about them?
Like the little girl emoji? No, it's a no-no. It's a no for me. I stay as far away from them as possible. Because, well, for one, in the Bible, I'm going from the Bible, it says, to stay away from them. I don't remember exactly what scripture it is. I believe it's in Deuteronomy, and I don't remember exactly what it says. But I know it does say to stay away from them, because they're evildoers. Basically, what they're doing is evil. It's not from God. So yeah, I'm sorry. You don't gotta convince me anymore. I stay away from them. But also, like, it was instilled in me from a young age, in my family. Both my mom and dad, they have their stances on it, and they both agree, like, no, it's a no. Stay away from it. Only bad things can happen, when you try to dive into that. So just, stay away from it. That's my stance. What's yours?
I have a completely different viewpoint on them. Well, you know what? Let me backtrack. I have a different viewpoint that I'm not necessarily as strongly opinionated on psychics and mediums. Personally, I didn't grow up with the notion that they were that bad. I mean, obviously, I grew up Catholic. I grew up, Christian, let's just say, and the Bible does speak on that. I'm not so well versed on it. I can't pin out a specific passage or whatnot. And maybe those of us, faith-based people in the safe space can go ahead and comment on a passage or whatnot in the comments. But I honestly I don't see what's the big deal, personally. And I know that's something that we've spoken about before, but I know people who go to mediums. I know people, I've known a few mediums who are Christ followers. And so that begs the question, can you do both? And I met one who was the pastor of the wedding that I DJ'd a couple years ago. And she was a full Christ follower, Christ believer, but she believed that she was blessed with the gift of, being a psychic medium. And she was like, telling me the story about how she told the bride that she was going to meet her husband and that they were going to be pregnant and blah, blah, blah. And then guess what? A few months later, she met her husband. They got pregnant. And they actually announced the pregnancy at the wedding because nobody knew. But she told me how she predicted all that stuff. So it's always been something that I wanted to do. I was always curious about it, but it's also something that I was a little nervous about because I know that the Bible does speak on it in some aspects, and I'm not so well versed on it to be able to give you a full, yes or no. But before dating Brianna, my viewpoint was very open on them. And because Brianna felt so strongly about, on the opposite side, it's caused me to kind of feel conflicted in that aspect. It's one of those things where it's like I don't have to test that water, so to speak, because there's other battles that we can fight. However, if I'm being completely honest, it is something that I would like to do, or would have liked to do one day. Just talk to a medium who is a Christ follower.
Well, I think there's a slight difference, and I don't even know if I would call them who you're talking about mediums per se, because there are definitely psychics who obviously have that gift, and the gift is from God. But I'm talking about those who have shops and they read your card, or they read your palm, and they have tarot cards and all of that stuff. that I don't think is of God. I don't think that that's I don't think that's something that we should be, diving into or even surrounding ourselves with.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's something that we have to stay away from. But on the other hand, there are, people in the church that might have that gift. I mean, I've spoken to a pastor once at a different church that I don't really remember right now, but she's told me something that was going to happen in my future that ended up happening. I think that's different. I don't really consider them mediums. Maybe psychic, but I don't really consider them mediums, and I don't think that they would be in a shop like trying to read your palm or something like that. That's really what I'm talking about. That's what I mean when I say stay away from them, So.
Well, you bring up a good point, and I feel like it's always me that does this. But listen, sugarcane, my sugarcane, but also sugarcane. Listen, I don't see the difference between a psychic and someone in the church who prophesies. For me, it's the same thing, and I've never been to a psychic, so I wouldn't know for sure 100%, but the concept is the same. I've had people in the church prophesy over me and predict things about my life, and I honestly don't see what the difference is between someone in the church who prophesies and someone who's a Christ follower who makes a business out of it that, let's just say tells your future or feels out your future. We all feel as though we have certain gifts that God has given us. For example, I know for a fact that I am empathic. I can feel other people's emotions. I know when someone is happy, sad. I know when someone's energy shifts. I feel those things, and you can't tell me otherwise, because I know that that's just, it's been too many examples over my long life for me to question that. And I know that that's something that God gave me. So who am I to tell someone who is able to accurately predict the flow of someone else's life that's not God-given? And why am I accepting of someone in the church who prophesies, but I'm not accepting of someone outside the church who prophesies?
I think they're from different,
Say it with your chest.
I guess different backgrounds. The backgrounds is not really the word I'm looking for, but it's different. Like one is of God and one is not. To me.
Is there anything that you think would change your mind on that?
No. Not that I can think of.
So you just
Because it's like, okay, so it's in the Bible. So then, okay, who do you think the Bible is talking about when they say stay away from psychics, mediums, necromancers, all of that?
Well, that's the thing. The Bible, in a lot of different ways, has room for interpretation. Necromancy, mediums. So a medium, the definition of a medium, to my knowledge, is someone who's able to channel spirits. Okay. So a medium, that's why they call them a medium, because they're in between you on the living and the dead on the other side. So we're not talking about that. That would nix that out. I'm not defending that. Necromancy is, listen, that's something they do in Haiti. Necromancy is bringing the dead back to life and causing them to do your bidding or trying to see loved ones that have passed. Those are things, whether you believe in them or not, I stay away from that also. But someone who is able to, who feels as though they're able to get some type of feeling about my life and my direction and whatnot, I don't know if the Bible is specifically speaking on that directly. And if it is, then maybe it's something that I need to talk to a pastor about to see what their opinion on it is. But we've had extensive conversations about that, and you know how we stand. We wanted to bring it to the safe space and talk about it freely, because just so you guys know, we're not always going to talk about relationships on this podcast. We have a lot of different things that we're going to talk about as the episodes progress, and this is definitely one that we wanted to highlight.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, would you be open if someone said, I believe in God with all my heart, He is my Lord and Savior, but I also know that I have a gift that He's given me? Would you go to that person and allow them to look into you? I don't want to say tell your future, but look into you.
I don't know. I'd definitely be a little weary and a little uncomfortable. Even talking about this conversation making me uncomfortable. But I'd definitely be a little bit uncomfortable. But I don't know. I mean, if it was somebody I trusted, like a pastor or someone that I've gone to before, you know, someone that I see regularly, maybe. But I don't know. I definitely will not go to a psychic shop. You will never catch me in there, ever. So.
I don't know either. I really don't. But
I'm sorry, not to cut you off, but I've actually had a similar instance. At my old job, I had I don't remember what they called him. I don't know if he was Jewish. It's not a priest.
A rabbi?
I think he was a rabbi. And I was helping him out at my old job, and he was telling me, he was like, you know, I'm a rabbi, I sense, and then he started like saying stuff that has recently happened in my life. I sense a blah, 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 I sense. So basically we had just moved, and he was like, I sense a move. Did you just move? Did you just change locations? And I'm like, oh, hell no. Stop. Right. I was like, cut it. I was so, and I think he saw, so he stopped, because I was so uncomfortable. I was like, I think I need to use the restroom. Like, I get so, you know, it scares me, honestly. And that's the other thing. I don't even know if I want to know my future, because it's kind of scary. You know, you don't know you don't know what's going to happen. And I also believe that, you know, if God wanted you to know your future, then you would know your future. So I feel like to a certain extent, you really should not, you know, you really shouldn't get into that. But
there's definitely an argument for that, but there's also an argument for the other side. If God has given someone the ability to foresee certain things, like I said, going back to the church, if that was the case, all these pastors that prophesy, and I'm telling you, I had a few people who spoke over my life and said things that wowed me, and I was like, how could they know? You know, and because I'm more open to it, I let it play out. And I asked myself, how could they know? If God has given them that ability to prophesy, just because they're of the church doesn't mean that the people who are not in the church doing it are not of the church. Now hear me out. We sometimes feel as though we shouldn't do certain things because of how we were brought up. Like, for example, you know what? I don't want to use that example, but you know what I'm saying. There's certain things that is not in the Bible, but because our parents say it and they associate it with the Bible so much, we had to figure out as an adult that those are not really biblical teachings. Mm-hmm. My point in saying that is, do we feel as though sometimes we're a little hesitant because of what we've been brought up to believe, and it's not necessarily true?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But you know, I still feel, I don't know, I still feel the way I do. But you know, in regards, going back to the people in the church, I feel like God speaks through them, and when He wants you to know something, then He'll let it be known through other people. God uses people, you know, to help and bless other people. So I guess that's why I feel like it's different.
So you feel more comfortable if it comes through a church house?
I guess, yeah, because it's a different setting, and I feel like it's more God-like. It's more from God for the most part. And I feel like, especially if I'm praying, you know, and I'm asking God to show me a sign or, you know, show me the way, show me what I should do, and He speaks to me through other people, then that's different. But like I said, you're not going to catch me in a psychic shop. You're not going to catch me over there. Sorry.
I feel you. Well, you know, I really want to know what you guys think. So make sure you guys comment down below. We've been saying it a bunch tonight, but we really want you guys' opinion. We want your feedback.
Yeah,
this is the safe space, you know?
Discuss with us.
Okay?
You know, this is a discussion.
And we're just the moderators of the discussion, but we want to know what you guys think. So please comment down below. Comment on our Instagram. message us and email us questions that you think we should talk about in the future.
Yes.
Okay. Now, we are going to end today's episode here, but before we end, we just want to invite you guys to check out our previous videos. Make sure you guys are sharing this with your friends and family. And we're going to leave you with some footage from the JookAerobics that we went to a few weeks ago with Adler. And you know what? I can't wait for the next one. I know I was sore.
Whoo, child.
Hell.
I was sore for like 3 days, and I think the second day was the worst.
Mm-hmm.
I got up out of bed, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, but it was so worth it. And you
was.
guys let us know, how do you think we did in the video? And until next time, peace.
Bye.
We are live at Adler's JookAerobics. Just signing in for you guys. Shout out to my dog Adler, our dog. Make sure you go and support him. JookAerobics.
They're gonna sweat, boy.
Woo!
All right.
Live at Adler's JookAerobics.
We out here.
Like I told you guys, make sure you tune in for the next one. Tell them what your Instagram is.
Hey, follow your boy at high_definition6ix.
Once again, high_definition6ix. Make sure you guys are in line for the next JookAerobics. We out.